Broadway has done in quarantine, and we're so excited about it. It is something that has never been done.
Sign up for that fucking mailing list, people. And once again, touch the picture on Instagram on 4FS_podcast, and it will take you directly to it. Touch it. Touch the picture.
With some gloves on, please.
With some gloves on, please. And then use some hand sanitizer. Yeah. But touch it with consent. Okay. I might cut that. Wonderful. God damn it.
I think you're up to
earlier, by the way, in our conversation, which I might have to start I am going to start a Patreon where you actually get to hear these kids, all of us, kind of talking about some real, we're going to call it the BTS, okay? I was like, no, tell your friends that I'm totally approachable. I am, trust me, I am. This is a deeply impassioned couple hours of time on this podcast. All right, guys.
I feel like for that part of it, like you and I have very similar features on that end of it, where I call it the brown scowl, where I just don't realize that I'm just like, I look like I'm pissed, but I'm like so deep in thought. Cheech is dying right now, but it's true. Like I look like I have resting bitch face, but really,
you know what, Danny? Not to discount what you're saying. It isn't even resting bitch face. It's like, do not talk to me face. I'm gonna do it right now. No one can see.
Yes, that is exactly.
That is me literally not moving a muscle in my face. It is just like, do not approach me, which is weird because Danny, you and I are both the squishiest softies ever.
I try to be.
I don't know. Maybe it's a brown thing, but like I see that on you guys, and I am like not fazed by it at all.
100%.
If I were to see that face on a white guy, like I would move towns.
It's so real though. I don't know what it is, but so often I'm told like, oh, it took me a while to warm up to you because I just thought that you were mean. And I'm just like, no, I'm just direct.
I've had really good buddies now be like, I thought you hated me.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? I'm like, no, and it's true. Like within like, I'm not fazed by it. Like when we're all on camera right now. When I see you guys focused and concentrating, I don't for 2 seconds. I don't
right now.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, exactly. I'm like, oh, Cheech is listening. Danny's listening. And the boys see me like literally come from behind my Phantom of the Opera mic. And I'm just like, they're like, yeah, Aaron's listening to us. Like, it's so just everyone know that because of our dark features and heritage, that it's just our way of concentrating. Have we learned nothing?
I think there should be a Botox fund that is just for right there and is just.
Well, and to be honest with you, I'm sort of terrified by people that are always smiling. This just makes me really nervous.
It makes me uncomfortable for sure.
Yeah, there's something very George Orwellian about that. Like, hello, welcome. Pay no attention to everything burning behind me. All is fine. Please comply and assimilate. Thank you. It's just horrifying.
But those are my favorite people to watch them have a meltdown because it's just like you watch the computer chip just completely crash.
It's so gratifying. And I hate to say it. And like, I think we all grew up with it before. Like, well, no, you guys actually probably had YouTube now that I think about it. But I remember seeing that shit happen in high school. It was so gratifying to watch like the perky person completely melt. Not that I wish bad on them, but I'm like, oh, you're a person. How wonderful. Speaking of meltdowns, RNC, right? And I think it's just safe to say it's a shit show. All right, moving on. So
I did not watch it. I did not watch it, but what I will say is I've seen a couple of the clips, and all it reminds me is that pastor that like blew the wind at COVID. Like that's all I'm saying. Like they're just super villains. Like it's just we're watching Suicide Squad like live action in real life.
Oh my God. I mean, when you get a bunch of brown people being like, you are really yelling, that's quite serious. Okay.
Really?
Because I don't want to talk about them. With that being said, though, guys, I wanted to talk about something actionable. I'm sure a lot of us right now are all on very fixed economic situations for the most part. And However, though, I kept thinking a lot about like put your money where your mouth is. And so I signed up to donate $5 a week. I did the math, I crunched the numbers, I was trying to be responsible. I'm like, okay, $20 a month through November. If there's a million people like me, I feel like that could be helpful. So I'm just throwing it out there that if sometimes we feel helpless as Democrats, and you're like, I know that I'm like in an echo chamber, I'm reposting, which all that shit's really good. And your social media is kind of an amazing way to campaign within your own circle and to educate your family and show them where you stand. If you feel it, like, drop that $5 a month. Yes, they're going to send you 50 million more emails being like, can you give us more? Can you give us more? But that's the nature of campaigning. But just also know that you got a bunch of terrifying people on the other end who have unending money. And part of revolution is contribution. Why am I rhyming today?
I'm here for it.
The part of revolution is contribution, much in the same way as the Black Lives Matter movement. People were saying with all the variety of organizations, people were like, sign, petition, educate, donate. I think it's safe to say that no one expects anyone to drop grocery money. But it's like Cheech mentioned, if two of you like banana bread, 2 million of you like banana bread, and if you literally drop someone $3 to $5, there's going to be maybe a million more of you who feel like, oh, well, it's not much. But I really think that shit makes a difference. I think it really helps. I mean, it was interesting to watch like the Okra Project, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of go from like donating to really seeing how I think that the Okra Project grew on the backs of people who were like, I have $5, but here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then a million people were like, here's $5. And then you watch organizations grow. And so that's just don't feel any guilt about that. There's so many ways you can volunteer. I'm going to do the phone banking, guys. And
I am too.
Terrified.
I am too.
Yeah. I mean, I love the whole little setup of the scripts and you get to do it from home. And I'm like, yeah, because I don't enjoy being on a mic, for Christ's sake. Who are you kidding? And so I'm going to try to like come at them safely, but we're going to get some shit said back to us. Like, let's just be ready for it. But there's lots of ways you can actually be actionable during this campaign. So don't let money be the factor. But if you know that $20 a month might help, I'm just going to say as an endorsement, or fuck it, just give them $5. I'm just saying that like for that, COVID dodging red eye that you're going to buy, you can also throw a little cash at hopefully changing the current state of the administration. That's all I got to say about that. I just want to give some encouragement so that we don't feel so fucking helpless.
I mean, the whole thing is like, do what you can, right? And what you can is like the big part of it. Everyone's capacity is a little bit different based on their current situation, both financially, emotionally, physically. If if you're in a situation where you need to stay to yourself for the health of other people, but you go to the extent of your capacity and you help to that extent, and that is enough and appreciated and will do some good. And it's not like maybe it will do some good, it will do some good. And so go do that.
Yeah,
that's great.
And a big part of that too, on top of that, is educating yourself on these organizations and knowing where the money goes to and what the causes are. And every single organization until the end of time and from the start of time, has pros and cons. So depending on where you are getting your information from, you could be getting misinformation. You could be getting a lack of communication. And so in order to kind of, if you can't donate money or you can't volunteer time, the more that you can read the literature and kind of see what is actual real information and can pass it along to people. Like, we're in a world right now in social media where we share everything. And so if you're going to share something, make sure that it's accurate.
And we have supercomputers at our fingertips. So it's not more than a Google to find out what is accurate.
Exactly. And there's actually, fact-checking websites and that are nonpartisan, and it's just, they literally just look up facts. That's literally, and I know that sounds like a ridiculous thing that would make sense to most of us, but clearly it isn't. And so I actually would venture to say too, for all of us that, I'm sure we all have people we love in our life who are getting a little influenced by things that have no basis in facts, which is sort of shocking. I think it's a good time to make yourself, even if it's just for yourself to not feel crazy, just to look it up and say, what is this accusation? Mm-hmm. You'll be able to find it. And then you'll see that it was fact checked and there's no basis in it. Or if there is, then continue to unpack that for yourself. But like Danny said, in being informed and information is important right now. And also, I'd like to just add this and then we can move on. I'm really into the